Hey YouTube, today's Valentine's Day. I don't have a Valentine, but I do have a YouTube video. You'll probably be seeing this video after Valentine's Day. I'm running out of things to say, so just please enjoy the video. Now, I'm sure we're all familiar with the idea of mind control. We've seen it in books, TV shows, and movies, as well as in plenty of stories. While the idea of being mind control is quite scary, you're forced to do something against your will with no say in how or when you do it. Well, what if I were to tell you that it's real? Mind control has happened multiple times throughout history. The CIA. The CIA was created in September 1947. That's about 2 years after World War II ended. The goal was to find scientific methods to control the human mind, as stated in a CIA memo in 1951. In an early 1950 CIA document, it states that hypnotism appears to be used in some case by the Soviets. It can be able to lower the ability to tell the truth. Basically, this means that if you are under mind control by the CIA or the Soviet Union, you could be mind controlled into lying and not even know that you're lying. Sadly, this is not a conspiracy theory. It's cruel to think what people can do with drugs and special procedures in order to get what they want. Procedures are there in order to weaken individuals and force them to confess some things through mind control. Former US President Bill Clinton apologizes for the CIA acts back in the 1950s through to 1970s. The clip isn't in very good quality, but it's what he says that's very important.
On our national memory. Thousands of government-sponsored experiments did take place at hospitals, universities, and military bases around our nation. The goal was to understand the effects of radiation exposure on the human body. While most of the tests were ethical by any standards, some were unethical, not only by today's standards, but by the standards of the time in which they were conducted. They failed both the test of our national values and the test of humanity. In one scientist injected plutonium into 18 patients without their knowledge. In another, doctors exposed indigent cancer patients to excessive doses of radiation, a treatment from which it is virtually impossible that they could ever benefit. The report also demonstrates that these and other experiments were carried out on precisely those citizens who count most on the government for its help, the destitute and the gravely ill. But the dispossessed were not alone. Members of the military, precisely those on whom we and our government count most, they were also test subjects. Informed consent means your doctor tells you the risk of the treatment you are about to undergo. In too many cases, informed consent was withheld. Americans were kept in the dark about the effects of what was being done to them. The deception extended beyond the test subjects themselves to encompass their families and the American people as a whole. For these experiments were kept secret, and they were shrouded not for a compelling reason of national security, but for the simple fear of embarrassment. And that was wrong. Those who led the government when these decisions were made are no longer here to take responsibility for what they did. They're not here to apologize to the survivors, the family members of the communities whose lives were darkened by the shadow of the atom and these choices. So today, on behalf of another generation of American leaders and another generation of American citizens, the United States of America offers a sincere apology to those of our citizens who were subjected to these experiments, to their families, and to their communities.
It's just sad to think about. Our government, the people in power, the people who claim to have our best interests at heart, would go this far just to get what they want. Okay, I'm kind of scaring myself here, and I've heard of plenty of stories of people getting assassinated because they know too much info. So I'm just gonna stop right here with this topic and move on. If you want to learn more about this, I'll leave links in the description. This next topic might be even more tragic than the first one. Max Byers, a fellow conspiracy theorist, dies in unknown circumstances in Poland after telling his mother that he felt unsafe. He suddenly died at the Warsaw home of a friend and fellow conspiracist. Before that, he had fallen ill with high temperature and vomited 2 liters of black liquid. His mother is trying her best to find out what happened to her son, and I'm sure just like any other mother, she's not taking the death very well. A few days before his death, he messaged his mother saying, "Your boy is in trouble. If anything happens to me, investigate." Now, I don't know how the hell this could have happened, but police were not informed about his death until his body was returned to the UK. His body wasn't examined until a week after he had died. And then because of that, doctors were not able to find out the cause of his death. This just doesn't make any sense to me. If something like this happened to, for example, the President of the United States, people would lose their heads trying to find out exactly what happened to him, how he died, and who caused it, especially with the technology that we have today. I'm sure police could have gotten informed right after his death. And I'm sure people could have found out more info exactly about how he died. I send my love out to Max's family, and I hope that one day we can find out exactly what happened to him. Okay, I think that's enough for today's video, guys. I know that this video was quite dark, maybe even darker than my last video that I made about conspiracy theories. If you haven't seen the last video, go check it out. It's quite interesting, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.